Shalom Israel. Before I begin, I want to give all the praise and the glory to the almighty powerful strength of our forefathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the Son of the Most High. If you're watching, had an Israelite brother today ask me a question about a Chickasaw Indian, and I had on social media, and in one of my comments I had posted that it was kind of harder for me to find some of the real Chickasaw Indians who are black, but for certain they are. And are of a mixed nature as well. I don't want to just say that all the Choctaw and Chickasaws are black, but they do have a mixture and a combination. But they do have black origins and a lot of black people that are Negro Indians that are a part of the Choctaw and Chickasaws. And I'm not speaking about the freedmen, the descendants of the slaves of these people, but the actual tribe. And I had mentioned that Don Cheadle, I believe, was a Chickasaw Indian, and he was hiding behind the freedman name. For certain, the beast uses their mouthpiece as a strong manipulation. And I believe that in this video that I had posted on my shared videos, I posted this Native American blasphemy exaggeration where you had the show where the guy who is a Cherokee and admits that in this video, he goes into their slave trade roots and traces their lineage and goes back into who their real ancestors were and by whom they were owned by. And they did a video that's kind of well known now about Don Cheadle and being owned by the Chickasaws. But one thing they don't do in the video is tell you that the Chickasaws were black. And that's why I definitely believe that he's a Chickasaw. But they're using these actors and TV personalities to really manipulate, and he's an actor. You can't really trust an actor because you don't really know when he's telling the truth or if he's lying. But he definitely in here, I believe, was doing a little bit of acting, as well as there's a few other celebrities who I believe are trying to really hide who they are for real. They know that they're the Choctaws, but they use this little video as a manipulation to try to continue to hide exactly who they were and who they are, as more history and more knowledge is coming out about these people. But if you have a few minutes, it's about a 9-minute video. You take a look at it if you're interested in understanding that these people are really hiding themselves among us. And the beast is using their mouthpiece, which I'll go into a quick scripture here in Revelation 13:5, and it says, "And it was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against the Most High, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven." Okay, so they're using that mouthpiece extremely strongly. They're using that mouthpiece in every single way possible, which is their media. Not just television, but social media as well. Social media and this YouTube and the internet is part of their mouthpiece. They're using all weapons that they can against us to hide who they are and blaspheme. They continue to hide their allies and hide the 12 tribes and do everything they can to keep us separated even. This video, I believe, also creates somewhat of a separation between the Negro from the slave trade and indigenous peoples. Because when you're bringing out history that there were slave owners in the Indian tribes, but that you're not bringing out the fact that they were black, it kind of creates a little bit of separation between the biblical Judites and the biblical Gadites. So I want to, just make a reference to this Don Cheadle video that I posted in my shared videos. Also, I wanted to go into this video done by IUIC to show and prove that these camps also are hiding the truth about the Danites. And I found this video done by IUIC, which I think I posted this on Instagram before, that they know who they are for real. These Esau, Choctaw, agnostic Christian, one confused Negro woman. This is part 2 of it. There was 2 parts of it where the woman really has a devil in her. And she tells them exactly what tribe they come from, and their reaction is, they have somewhat of a little bit of reaction to where they know exactly who she is. So I just want to show this real quick and continue to prove that they're hiding themselves among us.
They ain't brought out not one damn scripture. That's right. Lip service. Now, second thing, this sister said that she is from the tribe of what? Choctaw. She's a Choctaw Indian. In your Bible, in this Bible, can you find Choctaw Indian?
Look, he even scratches his nose. Let's take a look at that again.
She says that the Choctaw Indian tribe of what?
Choctaw.
She's a Choctaw Indian. In your Bible, in this Bible.
See their reaction a little bit. They know exactly who they are. This man for certain, I know he understands exactly who the Choctaws are. These IUIC members are definitely hiding the truth, because you'll never hear them say that the Choctaw Chickasaws are the Dan tribe. And why doesn't he tell her exactly who her tribe is in the video? I don't know, because he definitely doesn't tell her that. He doesn't bring out the fact, okay, you're not the Choctaw, you're Judah, or you're African American, because that right there would be a lot of confusion right there, and that might actually wake people up to the fact that they're lying, because it's impossible for an indigenous person to be the Judites, because Judah came over here in ships. If she was an indigenous woman and she claims the Choctaw tribe, she could never be from Judah. But I want to show one more time the reaction. A little bit of reaction.
Lip service now. Second thing, this sister said that she is from the tribe of what? Choctaw. She's a Choctaw Indian. In your Bible, in this Bible, can you find Choctaw Indian?
No.
Okay. Secondly, she says
See, look at her.
the
She says she's from the Choctaw tribe. Now this ain't the Choctaws that you're gonna see on television or in if you Google, you ain't gonna see these type of Choctaws. This is a real Choctaw Indian. Now, she says that she's a Choctaw from Esau, but I found some history. I want to go into some of the history. She claims to be an Edomite, but what I believe that she did was that they went into the Edomite, into the Bible, because they're, of course, Christian, a lot of Christians, and she goes into the Bible, I believe, and they found Esau in the Bible, who was the father of the Edomites, and just claimed to be the Edomites, because their forefather's name was actually Esau Lawson. There is a very notable and well-known man in the Choctaw community, in the southern community, which after doing a lot of research, I found this out, that the Lawsons are very well known in the Choctaw community, that she very well may be a part of their family tree. And so when she says she's a Choctaw from Esau, the Edomites, I believe that they also, knowing that they're allies to the white man, have completely shed off the Israelite covering, or the Israelite nationality, and took on their forefather Esau and claimed to be Edomites. Although we know that they're not the Edomites according to the Bible. But I believe definitely they went into the Bible and seen the name Esau, who was the father of the Edomites, and took on that Edomite name. I just want to go into a little bit of history, but definitely check. You could see she's a black woman, a dark-skinned black woman too, a very fair-skinned black woman. So she says that she's from the Choctaw, and I wanted to just go into a little bit of the history of it. Just a little bit of it, not too much. I ain't going to read the whole thing, but right here, this is on Facebook, an American Indian Southeastern U.S. genealogy research community, where it speaks about the Choctaw Indians. And it goes into Ida Daniel Lawson and Melinda Tom Lawson. Melinda Lawson's husband. Over here it says, I'll bring out this one. Esau and Melinda purchased land in what is called Reed's Quarter in Amite in 1920. Some of their descendants still live in the same area. Melinda and Esau are both buried in Butler Cemetery in Amite. Okay, so, and it says Andre, the person that was being spoken of, I believe was Andre Richardson right here. It says Andre's direct lineage to Melinda and Esau is through his grandmother, Ida Lawson Daniel. Let's take a look who they're talking about. This is exactly who is being spoken of. This family, I believe, is very well known throughout the Choctaw community down south. This is the picture that this Facebook post is talking about. Although I didn't get this picture from the website, I got this picture from a different website or from a different social media page than this one. It kind of shows and proves that these Melinda and Esau are kind of well known throughout their community. But this, as you could clearly see, is a Negro woman that definitely could be the where this woman right here could definitely be the offspring from. She could definitely be from this, and this is right here is the Ida Lawson that they speaking about. Ida Lawson Daniels. Ida Daniel Lawson, Choctaw Indian in Louisiana. I believe down south they probably run into a lot of this stuff. These Israelites probably run into a lot of these Negroes that know the Choctaws. But what they do is they use the confusion of the fact that she calls herself Esau. I just wanted to bring out the fact that there was a man in history whose name was Esau, who was a Choctaw. So don't just let that Esau and Edomite stuff confuse you, because there was a Choctaw who was well known named Esau. Okay, so I thought I should bring that one out when I seen this video and I went into the Choctaws and how they're hiding themselves. But one thing you will not see is them tell her that she's either from Gad, because if somebody was to tell her from Gad, then that would raise a lot of eyebrows. And then they don't tell her that she's from Judah, but they just tell her that, okay, do you see Choctaw in the Bible? And she says no. And they basically just tell her that she's an Israelite. So I found this very interesting, and this woman definitely had a devil in her. As you can see how she's dressed, she definitely wasn't dressed to be dressed properly, claiming to be Christian. But these Choctaws definitely got devils in them. I promise you that these are the serpent by the way and the adder by the path. I wouldn't be saying that if it wasn't. I did a lot of research in this stuff to where I can safely say without lying that the Choctaw and Chickasaws are the Dan tribe. I found a couple more images that I thought was very much important. This is some of the history, of course, where it says neither the Choctaws nor Chickasaws ever engaged in war against the American people, but always stood as their faithful allies. So that right there could possibly be another reason why they took on that Edomite and their forefather Esau, because these people right here have always been faithful allies to America. She just sat there and told the man that she was from the Choctaw tribe, and this is down south, and there's a lot of them down south. Down south, they probably outnumber the Judites. For certain, I think I could safely say down south, where they originate from, and a lot of the Judites from the slave trade, they took off after the American Revolution, after slavery was abolished. They definitely migrated up north. That I could safely say that down south, they definitely outnumber the slave trade Negro. So they probably bump into a lot of this Choctaw stuff down south. I want to go into another part where I wanted to show how these people are really causing division. This is IUIC Oklahoma. Oklahoma definitely is one of the is Choctaw country, another place where the Chickasaws and the Choctaws have land and have reservations. This is the IUIC Oklahoma. Look at all these people, man. I think I've said this before. Look at all these people. I can contradict this one image with scripture. It says we're not just neighbors, we're a family. Little Jerusalem coming soon. Now I can completely contradict that with one scripture. We're going to go here in Jeremiah 3 and 14 says, "Turn, O backsliding children, saith the Most High, for I am married unto you, and I will take you one of a city and two of a family, and I will bring you into Zion." Now that alone, that one scripture, compare that to this. Compare that one scripture to this one image where this is just IUIC Oklahoma. Now if he's going to take you one of a city and two of a family and bring you into Zion, that means there's something going on here that's contrary to the scripture. Jeremiah isn't a false prophet, and he's not lying about being one. We're going to be scattered. To bring one of a city and two of a family, we're a scattered people throughout the four corners of the world. He is going to gather a scattered people. That also annihilates a little bit of this stuff here, where you see all these brothers out here on the corners. How many is that? They obviously doing something contrary to the scripture, or this isn't biblical, and this is definitely a contradiction to Jeremiah 3 and 14, just the one scripture, without going into to the law and how they've added something to the scripture that's not in this. I'm not a part of any camp. I'm not a part of any sect. I'm not a part of any group. I'm a Negro from the slave trade whose life was completely changed when the Most High unblinded me to Revelation 1 and 14 and 15. And Deuteronomy 28, 15 through 68 completely changed my life. I'm not a part of nothing. I'm just a Negro from the slave trade who woke up to the knowledge that I was an Israelite. And I woke up to the knowledge that I was an Israelite by this. After the Most High led me to a lot of knowledge he actually led me to this, to where I was able to understand that this image that they had was something completely contrary to